What's going on, guys? Yeah, Devin, I know, wrong slasher, but I've been doing so much work with the guy, I figured, give him a little bit of his due. Which is surprising, as much as we've been talking about Michael and been with the mask and everything, there hasn't been a single chillin' sighting. Oh, thank you, Ghost. Thank you. And thank you, Chuck, as well. Like, I wanted to see like how it looked with the coveralls and everything, especially being on camera. Yeah, definitely like the shade job I did. Like, really gives off that movie-ness. Go ahead and put him back on the stand because I do not want to mess up the hair after emptying an entire can of hairspray to get it just how I want it. So I will once again be right back. Which I also did have something else that Amanda actually got me. Let me bring this up. Which actually I gotta move my chair real quick. So you guys can see all of its glory. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this yet, but got the logo on a little blanket thing here. Let's see if I can't get all that on there. That's definitely a nice little touch. I have to ask her where she got it from. Nice and thick too, real good material. Michael Myers is going to watch Friday the 13th Part 6. I was going to, but then someone said wrong slasher, so I had to take off the mask. And now I just got to go find a Roy Burns hockey mask and maybe we can get that whole thing going. Nah, I just been doing some stuff with the Michael Myers costume, tweaking some things here and there, wanting to play with shadows before the stream. If you guys didn't know, no bandana, got the haircut. Got that James Jew Courtney haircut going on. Definitely helps with the mask. Thank you, Chuck. Yes, Ghost, I saw you added me on there. Just imagine I get the scarring on the eye. I could do that makeup. I mean, of course, mine would not be as good as what they did in the movies because I'd be working with very little material. Is Hide or Die crossplay? Not yet that I know of. I know it's only on PC, but not console yet. But it's like every time I look up, they're doing another update. So it's like, when do I get to play the game as is? I mean, I'm happy they're doing updates as quickly as they are. But holy shit. But I guess it is early access, so kind of makes sense. For Michael Myers and Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. I wouldn't want to do that. I think James Drew Courtney and of course having Nick Castle come back is by far the best choices that you guys could make. You guys meaning Blumhouse. I mean, I'd be down to do a fan film though. I'd definitely be down for that. Now, have you guys actually heard about the Tom McLaughlin script that he wrote for Friday the 13th? Jason Never Dies. Figured this was a good time as any to bring that up, considering that we're getting ready to watch Friday the 13th Part 6. If I remember right, he said something about, at least from the Bloody Disgusting article I saw, it was something along the lines of all-female cast. Which I know some people might have groaned at it, but if any horror franchise benefits from that, it's definitely Friday the 13th, because a camp can be all-female, so it would make sense in that setting. The thing that interested me, that I took away from that article, was how he said that Jason was at peace with being dead. That was interesting. Because with him being dead and Tommy bringing him back, that's sort of, in my mind, the way I interpreted it, Jason was reunited with Pamela in the afterlife. And when Tommy brought him back, he ripped Jason from Pamela. And he's not now killing out of revenge for his mother. He's killing because he's pissed because he can't die. He can never go back to Pamela again. And I thought, like, that's a very interesting concept that I never thought of before. Sounds like Deadpool. Kinda, yeah. You think about it. But I mean, I'd be down for it. Because I mean, the all-female cast thing doesn't bother me as much because it does have a reason for being there. Especially if you make it an all-female camp kind of setting. So that would kind of make sense. There would be no reason to have any guys there. As far as Tommy Jarvis goes, you could use this point as a jump off point, because I believe in his script he's excluding everything after part 6. So Tommy Jarvis, as far as he knows, Jason is at the bottom of the lake and dead. He's gone. But if he comes back in this movie, then you have a sort of a jumping point where Jason kills these counselors. Who's to say he doesn't kill all of them and somehow gets discovered? And that's how Tommy realizes Jason's back. And then he comes in for the next sequel to that. Like, there's a lot you can do going from that jumping point, and I am all for it. I mean, Tom McLaughlin is already a proven Friday the 13th director. Granted, I did criticize Part 6 for being too stylized. And as they say, it's the MTV Friday the 13th. But I mean, overall, if you if you partner him up with someone like Greg Nicotero, and they are able to give you a Friday the 13th that's both stylized and still captures the real kills, the realistic looking kills that the series was known for, then I think you got a good balance. Unfortunately, I did not get a NECA figure of you, Ghostface, but I am looking into the McFarlane one, I believe it is. They got one on a couple of them on eBay that look really good. They're just not NECA figures. Are we sharing tonight? We will be sharing tomorrow since I'll be doing gameplay tomorrow. I'm not sure if I can get Hide or Die working, but we will be playing Dead by Daylight at the very least. And I'll be doing an extra long share for as many things as you guys want to share as possible. I know there's like a lot of things that you guys have been building up, especially since Wednesday we were supposed to share, but then no internet. So feel free, like I said, send me anything on Discord, Facebook, anything that you guys want to share. Yeah, I think Hot Toys does still make horror. They make horror figures. Which, speaking of, I did through Nightmare Toys, the same place where I got the Michael Myers mask. I did get a pre-order in of their NECA Pinhead from Hellraiser. That thing looks phenomenal, and I cannot wait to get it. Hey, what's up, little hand? How you doing? So you sent the Ghost Myers over Messenger. Just make sure you remind me tomorrow, Ghost, that you got that in. I mean, I should be able to check it anyways, but you know, just in case I tend to maybe forget. Just so I know I got it out there for you. I don't know, Ghostface. I thought I saw someone on Twitter ask NECA if they were going to be doing another Ghostface at some point, and they said there's no current plans. So it's hard to say. And I know the license for Ghostface, especially with Fun World and Scream, are not exactly hand in hand. Like, that's why it took so long for Scream Season 3 to come out. But hopefully, there's definitely hope. And if they do, I will definitely want to grab that. Because I at least want some cohesiveness with all of my figures. Because I don't want to get it where I have Jason, Freddy, all of them from NECA, and then I have like a McFarlane Toys Scream that's 2 inches bigger than everybody else. I don't want to necessarily have that. Say you watched Candyman today and confused what are his abilities and rules again. You know, to be honest, I've actually forgotten myself. Like, I know he has a supernatural aspect about him because he's a ghost. And I know you call on him through the mirror. And I know a little bit of his lore, but it's honestly been so long since I watched any of those movies, let alone the first. We're talking 8-9 years since I watched Candyman. While I do remember I loved the movie, I cannot remember anything from it. It was never something that was in my replay list when watching anything. I mean, I wouldn't mind Tom Matthews coming back as Tommy, or even to make a cameo in another Return of the Living Dead. Like, give me any of them. I'll take it. Yeah, that Halloween 2 NECA figure looks really good as well. Oh, nice little hand. I look forward to seeing it. You're the greatest white mask killer of all time. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's debatable, but I mean, definitely legendary. Like, the essence of Ghostface is actually scarier than I think any other slasher. Just because Ghostface can be anybody. It's like Legion in Dead by Daylight. It's literally can and usually is the least person you're supposed to suspect. Like your best friend, your neighbor, one of your own family members. It could be anybody. And he's a fast motherfucker. He definitely is. When you see him chasing some of these people, it's ridiculous how fast Ghostface is. Even your pet hamster can be Ghostface. I'd actually want to see that. That sounds like that would be adorable. Which, speaking of, like, with the coveralls, going back to the whole Michael Myers costume, just because I know Ghost mentioned something about Michael Myers, the NECA figure. I was, like, thinking of dyeing these, like a navy blue, but it looks like on camera they kind of give off that color anyways, and these are supposed to be gray. Almost even like a charcoal gray, it looks like. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep them the same, and then you see I got grease spots because I bought these used. I wanted natural weathering on them, like a mechanic would have on their coveralls. Oh, man. But what do you say we get into the movie? So you guys got your copies ready? Raise your hand. JG, what color outfit is your favorite for Mike? I would probably say the charcoal gray I like because of how many... The charcoal gray, much like this, like if you were here in person with me, this looks like flat gray. It literally looks it, but I'm looking on my OBS monitor and it comes off like a blue tint, and that is not what I see, at least to my eye. So like pretty much with that, something that can change color based on your lighting and shade that you're in matches the same as the mask. Like based on the lighting, it has different expressions or just overall like a different kind of facial features. Like it's changing all the time. And with that, with the ever-changing colors, just I think works best for Michael. Like, watch Ghostface. You're going to be in on one stream. I'm going to be in here dressed as Michael Myers, and I'm going to have the Ghostface mask underneath. And I'm just going to, like, lift the mask up, and the Ghostface mask will still be on. To be honest, Ghost, I read all of Ghostface's comments in the Ghostface voice, too. To be completely honest. It is, his coveralls are green in H2. They're supposed to be a spruce green in part 1. But because of the blue hue that they have over the lens, and being in night setting, it doesn't really give that color. So with that, I kind of wanted to match the night color as opposed to the actual color. Just because I want, like when he's looking over the banister or he's chasing Lori, like I wanted that kind of coloring, which is the whole reason I even painted the mask. So you're watching Ben-Hur from 1925 instead. I actually never seen that. Like I know its place in cinema history, but I have never seen Ben-Hur. I've only heard references to it, like George Romero's original Day of the Dead script was like supposed to be the Ben-Hur of zombie movies. But I never really grasped that scope because I've never seen the movie. Mr. Collection, are you watching the movie with us? What is this? Well, with the way this is going to work, because of YouTube restrictions, I can't play the movie on YouTube. So the way it works is you get your copy of Friday the 13th Part 6, and we will synchronize our movies together. I'll give a countdown. Once I say play, you hit play, I hit play at the same time, and we will both be watching the movie, hopefully in a synchronized manner. And when I'm commentating on the movie, and you should be seeing what I see, and the comments should match. If that makes any sense. But in any regard, what is up, Mr. Collection? How are you doing? And welcome. Have you seen the movie The Thing? I have seen The Thing. I have seen the original Thing, and I have seen The Thing prequel. So yes, I have seen The Thing. Yeah, I just seen your comment, Lohan. Yes, I guess I kind of answered that in my response to Mr. Collection. Hey, what's going on, Aiden? You don't have the movie, but it's fine. That is unfortunate. But at least this commentary will be on the stream, so when you do watch the movie, you can always go back and play it. Oh, what's going on, BM? Yes, we will be beginning here very soon. I just wanted to give everybody I could a chance to pop in as we get started. I know I've been streaming for about a half an hour now, but had a little bit of fun. As you see, I'm in the coveralls. I was in a Michael Myers mask, costume, and all that. And then we got talking about NECA figures, which can't go wrong with that. Maybe Michael will make another appearance before the stream is over. But I am glad you are joining us, BM. Just keep that on pause until I say play. I mean, I liked Megan, but Jenny is still my favorite. without a doubt. But I think Megan, in comparison to the other final girls, is not as good. But I mean, she's still good. But compared to people like Trish, Chris, Jenny, Alice, she's not necessarily as good as those final girls. Oh, nice, Aiden. Nice. I saw a lot of pictures of the Ultimate Jason from Freddy vs. Jason, and it looks really good, especially the flaming machete. Hey, what's going on, that weird kid? How you doing? Welcome. I had to like get up close on that. Like, wait a minute, that's not from YouTube. Oh, Chillin's watching. It's like it reminds me of the beginning of part 7. Like he's out there watching, waiting. Oh, I am fantastic. Especially once we get to this movie. Like, I'm going to be absolutely loving it. I'm already in a slasher costume. Granted, it's not Jason. I should have been in Jason costume, but it is on my mannequin, and I do not want to strip my mannequin naked right now because it is a bitch getting that costume back on him. Yeah, Pam is actually pretty. Not. She's not overtly great, but Pam is good in part 5. And now, because I forget who it was that said she wasn't wearing a bra in part 5, now I've rewatched part 5 twice since that stream, and I cannot stop looking. I am so sorry, I cannot. They just bounce everywhere, and it is hypnotizing. So you be right back and getting some cereal. Don't worry, we ain't gonna start without you, Ghost. So you feel me about the mannequin. I know. It's if it was just the Myers costume, that'd be one thing. But Jason, I have boots on. I have the silver grayish, I guess they're called, the pants that go on them. I have the green shirt, the undershirt, and then I have a shirt to mimic the undershirt that goes here on Jason. I have that folded in a specific way that's not over the rubber hood. Yes, weird kid. This is the Meyer suit. 78 to be exact. Maybe not the actual color. I know it's not the screen accurate color to the 78, but it is the screen accurate brand. Oh yeah, Pam's brawl situation is not bad at all. Not bad. Like once I realized that, she took a couple of steps closer to Jenny. What would Leslie Vernon's 3 perks be in Dead by Daylight? That'd be something I have to think about, and I'd have to rewatch the movies and see how that would translate over to Dead by Daylight. That'd definitely be interesting. Who'd win, Leatherface or Ash? I'd probably say Ash because Ash has the boomstick. Leatherface just has a chainsaw, and if we're talking about the original Leatherface, while he does have a mean streak, he's also not as confrontational as you think, especially against a guy like Ash. So, what's my favorite thriller horror movie? Still Friday the 13th. That's my favorite series of all time. I love a lot of franchises, but Friday the 13th is my first. That's the first movie that I really got into and watched just because me and the killer share the same first name. And you're talking about maybe a kid 6, 7 years old that pretty much discovered that and was like, hey, he has my name. And I've watched all of them since then. And I've loved the Jason character. Everyone else just sort of like Jason was my entry person that I liked watching. Michael, Freddy, Pinhead, everything else just was built around that. That's what it was. I thought it was. I forgot who it was, Chuck. It was you that told me about that. Thank you, thank you, because now I cannot stop looking, and I. It's no one's fault but myself, but it is definitely a great discovery, especially for someone that's watched that movie in and out and has never really noticed that because I was actually watching for the story, and now I see the visuals, and I'm like, you know what? Well played. Oh yeah, BM, definitely. Like I think I made mention of that during the commentary for Part Five. Yeah, I want more Leslie Vernon movies too. I'm completely there with you, Death. Said, how do you only have 1,000 subs? To be honest, I having almost 1,100 subs, which is what I think I was at when I last checked. That's amazing that I even have that. I never expected when I first recorded my Roy Burns being Jason's father video, like I think it was like 2 years ago, I have never expected that I would be anywhere close to 1,000 subs, let alone passing that and gaining the kind of fandom that I am gaining. So definitely, I am grateful for what I got right now and completely happy if that never increases again. Although I would like to because that means more people to conversate with. But trust me, I am completely grateful with what I got. And I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Just being monetized by YouTube and having the people that I have right now is by far more than I could ever ask for. The next PewDiePie. I don't know if I can handle that kind of pressure, Death. So you love my videos. Thank you, Mr. Collection. I'm definitely glad you enjoy them. Like for real. Like that's the reason why I do them. Oh, thank you for the follow, weird kid. I definitely appreciate that. Helping me move up the ladder on Twitch. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the movie because I am actually quite anxious to watch it. So, I did explain the rules before to pretty much synchronize your movies with me. All right, let me minimize this so that way I can do this and still see chat. Okay, so we're going to do the countdown. Once I say play, you hit play, and we shall begin the movie. Let me actually turn off my audio so I don't run into an issue of copyright. Because God knows I don't want another one of those issues. All right, so here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Which, if you guys have never seen the, I guess it was the teaser trailer to this movie. Like, that thing is quite interesting itself. I love the fog rolling through the woods. It kind of reminds you of a zombie movie. So you can't watch Scream 6 while I watch this. I ran out at 4. Well, if you count the television series, you can always do every 2 episodes as a sequel. See, though, they mention he's still having the hallucinations. But in this movie, he doesn't have not one. And that's where the theory that I came up with before, that once he resurrects Jason, it's kind of connected. Because Jason was haunting him all of this time, trying to drive him back to the grave in order to do what he did, knowing that Tommy would do something that would allow the death curse to bring him back. I think it wasn't necessarily therapy. It had nothing to do with Tommy wanting to destroy Jason's body. It was his obsessiveness over Jason. That he just he wanted a punching bag, as you see, like stabbing him multiple times that served no purpose in a hollowed out dead body. There was no point to do any of that. You burn him to ashes, that's still not going to do anything. That would make a lot of changes, BM. If they said that all of this was a hallucination and it was literally Tommy just seeing all of this while he was in the loony bin, as you said, that changes a whole lot. Or furthermore, take it one step further. What if everything that happens in part 6, 7, 8, and even the New Line films are all visions of possible futures that Tina had? Hey, what's going on, Jason? I almost didn't see you. Oh, shit. Welcome. Pretty much. My guess, probably Ghost is likely when they put him back together because he had to have been hacked to pieces from the way Tommy was hacking at him in part 4. A sort of like how Tom McLaughlin intended. He was supposed to be a Frankenstein-like figure, at least brought back-wise. So you'd figure underneath all those clothes he'd been stitched together. Now, when the lightning hits him, it jump starts all of his body altogether, and it does regenerate. It has to regenerate some for him to, as you see there, he's mummified, but he doesn't stay like that. It definitely is. Like that corpse, they did a great job on that. Because you see, like, how easily Jason's body is wiggling and everything. That indicates to me that literally he should weigh like 2 ounces. That he's been decayed so much. Like his mummified corpse, you should be able to lift with one hand. And I still think that's Roy's mask. That's the thing that makes the most sense to me, is that would be Roy's. And lightning strikes twice. I cannot speak tonight. Lightning strikes twice in the same spot. Then Jason's dead eye is the one he now can see out of. That should show some of the restorative properties of what that lightning was able to do to him. Because he was supposed to be blind in that one eye. I mean, the way I looked at it, Devin, was when the lightning hit him, that wasn't regular lightning. It was essentially a manifestation of the death curse from Crystal Lake, bringing Jason back since it had no other avatar. So, with that lightning, it had more restorative properties than than any other kind of form of electricity. Well, thank you for the follow, S. Tyrus. If I said that right, I really hope I didn't butcher your name. Am I the destroyer of worlds? Small ones. Small worlds. I'm still working my way up. Then you hear the heart, like he stomps on the heart. Like you can hear it like squish. Oh. Brandon Brown is God. I have no idea who that is. Should I? Did I know Brandon Brown shoots ropes? I did not know that at all, as I am just discovering the name Brandon Brown. Oh, you won the lottery for the Crystal Lake Tour in September. That is awesome. Once you actually get there, if you could take pictures, please send some to me. I would love to see everything that you could possibly send from that trip. That one day I'll be a zombie cyborg. Nah, I don't believe it. You gotta love that shot of Jason walking through the woods. We don't speak about that, Ghostface. I never called you Scream. I did. I guess I should jump over to my commentary thing. There we go. Like, I really love Sheriff Garris. Which, you bring up a good point, Ghost in Death. When you stab Jason with the rod, why take it out when you're going to burn him anyways? Unless you're going to take him out of the grave. Why not leave him in the grave and just burn him? What was the point of taking it out? Tom Savini's directing a new movie. Really? What kind of movie? JG, don't lie to Ghostface. He's one call away. We got no phones in Crystal Lake. They're always out. Someone keeps cutting the lines. Funny thing, BM, I realized that in part 1 and 2 and 3, I believe, all three of those movies name the area as Crystal Lake. It's part 4 that calls it Wessex County. Part 4 and 5, I believe. I think it's mentioned in part 5. And then here they call it Camp Forest Green. And then after this, it goes back to Crystal Lake. see like how Jason is just like all out in the open now. He's no longer watching from afar, watching cars just drive to the camp and getting them later. He's like, fuck it, I'm here. What do you want to do? Although he did jump. I saw that. He did flinch. So what time we at? We are about 13 minutes and 55 seconds in. Killing me, Ghostface. I'll do something just for you after the movie. Oh, there he goes. Like, how are you not more urgently getting up and running the fuck away? Said, why Jason need the gloves anyways? My guess is likely the decaying hands that he had. Could have been some protruding bones, or especially the cut down the hand that Trish gave him. The gloves kind of serve as a brace, holding them together. And Jason, although his eye is kind of drooped from the deformities that he had, he is all about symmetry. So if you got one glove on, you got to have the other. I have no idea what she tripped on. My guess is maybe because there was a puddle there that the entire ground was soaked and she just slipped on the mud. Oh, nice tie. Very nice. I have to check to see what Tom's up to. Because I did like his remake of Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, Chuck, you did. And now that I see her on screen, I can definitely agree with you. Definitely has something about her. Although she's not up there with Jenny, but, you know, different strokes. Ooh, what a bad boy. Gotta go through some warning. Well, I mean, Jason, as long as you're keeping those teenagers away from your camp, all is forgiven. See, that's why I thought that I came up with my theory that with Never Hike Alone, because of that line there. Although Vincente DeSanti did say that pretty much in Never Hike Alone, the way he interpreted it was that Tommy was just talking about the general. Was it Tommy talking about the general area, or that's along the lines of what he was saying? Camp Crystal Lake was still closed down, but Jason was still patrolling the general area. Even though they renamed everything Camp Forest Green, it's still Camp Crystal Lake to him. I always looked at Camp Forest Green as Camp Crystal Lake being reopened. Call him Jason Rangs. I could actually get behind that. When I play Friday the 13th, the game, and I'm throwing the throwing knives at people, it's Jason Ranks from now on. Jason's got a mean power wall. He's angry. Because that was something else I interpreted too. When Jason was brought back, I always looked at it as it was just darkness. Like when Tommy killed him, darkness, and then he just woke up. So it was like he's been asleep for like a day at best in his own mind. In his mind, where it's, I guess this would take place in 1991, 92 maybe, somewhere around there. And Jason's mind is still that night in 1984. Well, I definitely agree, Ty. And she said, like, Jason's out in the woods searching for the one that decapitated his vengeful mother. So that would indicate to me that, one, they either never found Alice's body in the shack, which is very odd, or two, they never attributed Alice's death to Jason. Because one would think that pretty much with Alice's decayed body found in the shack and Jason being identified in part 4, that he would have been attributed as the killer. And that kind of news, especially campfire stories, would have been out there along with the rest of the story. If Pamela's beheading was out there, surely Alice's death and who killed her would be out there as well. No, I actually don't think that Jason had any brain damage. I think, if anything, he's just even more angry. Because if you go by my theory that in his mind, this is still that same night, 1984, at the end of that movie, he's completely pissed. But I think also he knows the limitation of his own legs. And with him being back from the dead, he dare not run for fear of like snapping those legs. So I don't think he's capable of running. I mean, in that regard, Aiden, if Jason would have never been actually killed, he'd probably have suffered some brain damage. But I think once the lightning hit him, it restored him to his faculties altogether. I mean, it restored his dead eye, which pretty much, with dead bodies that's been dead for that long, that eyeball would have been gone. Ooh. Arm off, machete acquired. And then him looking at it, that's a sign that he knows how strong he is. Like he's getting used to his own new powers. So how is it supposed to take place in 1991 in the official timeline? Mostly because we know Jason dies in 1984. We know Tommy's supposed to be around 1617. And part 5, somewhere around there. It's supposed to take place 5 years after part 4. So we know that's 1989. We know by this can't really take place more than maybe a year or two after that. Yeah, I agree, Bia. In part 7, he's the maddest that we've ever seen Jason. Kane Hodder really conveyed that anger. Imagine Jason learning his powers montage. That would be phenomenal. I wouldn't want to see it in canon, but I would love to see a YouTuber do that. Oh, the triple beheading, which I still would have loved to see that uncut before the MPAA got its hands on it. Jason's like, did you just fucking shoot me with paint? You little bastard. He's got those never hike alone stomps there. You can hear those thuds, especially when you got headphones on. Yeah, I heard about that, Aiden. Like the original scene had like the heads all falling in the front. I thought you kind of saw the beheading too. They had it like the original scene was like you could see them behead all three of them, and then they cut it again where the heads fall in the frame, and then they just ended up with that because the MPAA just kept fucking making them take more and more out. Yeah, he had those T-Rex Jurassic Park thuds in Never Hike Alone, which they've grown on me. When I first watched it, I didn't necessarily like it, but after watching it a few more times, it's grown on me. I like it as that identity of Jason, where if he wants to make noise, he will, but then when he's quiet, that's when you should be worried. That's kind of what it conveyed to me. Yeah, I did wonder how Jason got his hockey mask in X. Because it's very clearly not the same hockey mask. Which just does hold, what was it, that part of Friday the 13th lore that it's the only movie to ever have actual kids in the summer camp. That's not in a dream sequence or anything. Like, actual kids in a summer camp. Imagine Ghost Jason on the stealth mission. Just hear small thuds like boom. Hey, what's going on, LeVar? How you doing? Oh, thank you for the super chat, little hand. Oh, I love that. I love that. Like I gotta take like a screenshot of that at some point. My first super chat, and of course, one of the best lines in the movie. Thank you, little hand. I definitely appreciate it. Which I kind of would have loved to have seen the original script, like role for him, the caretaker, and how Elias would have actually played in. That's kind of something else that makes me interested if Tom McLaughlin does get to make his movie. If he's actually going to bring in Elias at some point, like he originally wanted to. How accurate is that scope, anyways? I mean, considering it's like this high off the gun, and it's not necessarily at an angle, so it's like wherever the red dot goes, you kind of bang. Isn't necessarily as intimidating. Oh, if I was watching Scream, I'd be rolling in super chats. Hmm. Sounds like something I should be looking into after the Friday the 13th movies, especially since there's only 4 Scream movies. Think I can roll that out before we hit October and do our Halloween fest. Hmm. Oh, Jason's got some NFL type hands to catch that because he would have tossed it back. Jason's like, got it, broke, killed. But Jason really did just kill him for littering. Oh, thank you, Ghost. I figured you'd like that. Like, I'm watching a couple episodes here and there, Ty. I mean, it's fairly interesting, but I mean, of course, it because it doesn't fall within the lore that we're watching in the movies. I have kind of taken a bit of a different approach to it, as opposed to looking at it as Friday the 13th. That's what I was wondering too, BM, because he was hacking at the caretaker like it was like he had some hatred towards him. Or unless when he stabbed the caretaker with the caretaker wasn't dead. So he used the machete to finish the job. I see, Ghost. Nightbot is on your ass again. See, that shows how smart Jason is. He knows how to use diversions and all that. But I've always said Jason is a lot smarter than people give him credit for. Now, I can't remember if that was intentional, that she was having nightmares and the connection to A Nightmare on Elm Street with her name being Nancy. Jason go throw a pebble at Garrus. Does that remind me of the Dead by Daylight animations? Do you just walk around with pebbles, like throwing pebbles at people? Like, I carry them in my pocket. I think that's something we can all agree on, Ghostface. Oh yeah, my kids and me, like, we watch all of them, like, all the time, all the Dead by Daylight animations. Like, I can't tell if he's enjoying himself or in pain. And Jason's like, what the hell is going on in there? I can't tell if she's having sex or working out. Maybe both? It's a wanna bang a Jason. Oh, Nia. Meh. She's not only secretly a monster, she is the entity itself. I walk on cats. I do not know that, Chuck. I honestly do not know she had a no nudity clause. Like, that's something I've never heard before. Hey, who's to say Jason has the brain of an 11-year-old? From where I stand, Jason is actually more mature than Still. I think Court just moves weirdly altogether. That's a hard one, Devin, because I look at kills differently than a lot of the other people would. They would look at creativity, like the basically the Jason X kill, where he freezes the girl's face and smashes it. Like, that's a pretty good creative kill. The way I look at it in terms of realism. So with that, you kind of have to look back to, like, Friday the 13th Part 1, like cutting Annie's neck and how that looks. Or Kevin Bacon getting the arrow through the neck and stuff like that. So I look at it from a realistic standpoint of best overall. Justice for Garrus. We need to start a petition. The Trapper and the Crapper. I am the Crapper. Which now my daughter wants to go to one of the next conventions I attend. She wants me to be the Trapper and she wants to be the Crapper, and we're just going to be going around singing the song. Sounds like a fun experience. Oh my gosh. That just shows so much force to like slam it and get that face indent in there. But you never know, Ghostface. Chucky could possess you like he did, what's her name? From Cult of Chucky. Oh, I do, Ghosts. I imagine everybody just watching us. Because I would want, like, the little kind of toy piano playing it while singing the song. Yeah. That would definitely be part of the reason why I was debating someone on Reddit that was pretty much asking if Pamela was working with people in Crystal Lake or Wessex County. Why didn't they reach out to Jason after he made himself known? And it was because Jason was killing everybody, cops included. He killed people like Ralph, the deputy, I think it was Winslow, and a couple other cops along the way. So you figure when Pamela was in cahoots with them and wouldn't touch them because they were in on it, they were all cohesive. Jason was killing absolutely anybody. So nobody was safe. That would be a reason why they didn't reach out. So didn't they shoot that underwater? What do you think they shot underwater? I know they shot the Winnebago scene when it crashed. It was like the last scene that they shot. They went back for, I guess, reshoots to shoot that. And I think it was a different actor playing Jason. It wasn't C.J. Graham. Garrett should come back in a wheelchair with a red dot gun. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any coming back from the injury he had. What are you doing back there? Taking a dump? Definitely. Second best line of the movie. Like, what the hell is Megan? Like, is she that bored? And are there really, like, two police officers in Wessex County, like, at the sheriff's office? I don't know. That's a tough sell, Ty, just because of the retelling of the original Friday the 13th. If you cut that out when Pamela gets beheaded again, and you make Derek Mears Jason undead, and you don't explain anything, then yeah, you could probably work that in. But as it stands when watching the movie right now, if we take into account the intro when Pamela gets beheaded in 1980 and not 1979 like in the original timeline, and we take into account that who beheaded her, which is supposed to be Alice, doesn't get dragged in the water. It never shows Jason in the lake pulling her under. There's a bit of a difference there. If you just cut that part out and make Jason undead, then you're good to go. I think at that point Tommy was just getting desperate. Like that's why he was calling them. Oh, definitely. Like out of all, when I look at creative kills for Friday the 13th, I look at every killer, not just Jason. Like I'm as much of a Friday the 13th fan as I am, I'm not a Jason purist. I will take any killer that they put on the series as long as it gives me the same identity that is Friday the 13th. Roy had the same identity as both Jason and Pamela, like a revenge tale. So most certainly he gets as much credit in my mind as Pamela or Jason. Like a lot of people give Roy shit, but I believe he's just as valid a killer as any of those two. Oh, I might have to check that out, Ghost. Because I don't remember hearing that for Nikki's kill in any of the documentaries, but I do have the Blu-ray set, so I'll be checking that out because I haven't checked out all the special features that I wanted to. Tried listening to some of the commentaries with Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller for the part one, but from what the commentaries sound like, they sound like old interviews that they did for documentaries that they just pasted over the movie. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Sheriff Hoyt type character in a Friday the 13th movie. As long as you give me likable counselors to balance it out and not the bland, kind of terrible characters that they did in the remake. Because I didn't really like the remake characters. That didn't scream Friday the 13th to me. That just screamed generic slasher. Oh, definitely. I feel like Friday the 13th doesn't necessarily need to be about the Voorhees family. If that was the case, then you can go with oh, head turning action. It's like completely de- decapitated by hand. You imagine how much pain that would be because he did it slowly too. But yeah, like back to what I was saying, I think Friday the 13th could definitely benefit from just being about Friday the 13th. Or even giving us different killers that are affected by death curses across the country. Like, it doesn't necessarily just have to be about Jason. Like the only thing you need to do for Friday the 13th is set it all in the same world and build it out. Similar to what they're doing in American Horror Story. All those stories are canon to that universe, but they're just different things that happen at different times across the world. Well, across America, rather. This is American Horror Story. You don't have an American Horror Story taking place in Japan or anything like that. You could say that, Ty. The only problem with trying to do that with saying that the beginning of the remake is somebody else's interpretation of events, the only problem with that is the objects that Jason picks up that would have made an appearance in one of the other films prior. The sort of custom looking machete with the wrap around the handle that he keeps with him all the way up into the remake, and the locket. Those two things kind of differentiate it from the other Friday movies. And you would think especially Baghead Jason would have saw that, and likely that would have come into play at some point. Now, I haven't heard anything about the lawsuit yet. Last I heard is that they're still fighting it out. But hopefully we do get a new movie soon. That's what kind of excites me with Tom McLaughlin's script. Because to have someone that has the kind of cachet with the Friday series as he does, it means we got a script ready to go as soon as they get the green light, the lawsuit's over, push it into production, and let's get going. Notice how he has a gun drawn on his own daughter? Like he's going to shoot his own daughter? I mean, Billy from Black Christmas is considered a slasher. I think Dolph Lundgren would actually be a pretty good pick for something like that. Oh, that's hard to say, Death. I don't know if. I mean, I would imagine he would have probably been killed by Trish, but I still think she'd have likely had as much difficulty with Part Two Jason as Jenny did. Garrus plays no games. Technically, Devin, I would probably have to give the honor of the first slasher to Norman Bates. Billy is the first slasher that we know of as of like slasher movies today. Like that retro 70s, 80s slasher. But technically, Norman Bates is the original. You do have the Phantom Killer too, and he's based off a real person. That is true, Lohan. Part 2 Jason would have survived if that chair didn't break. Like, he would have killed Jenny. Because Jenny was dead to rights until those legs snapped. Yeah, I kind of would want to see what Jason did to spread all that blood all over the place. Because he would have literally had to, like, start rubbing limbs on places to get that blood all over. Oh, you gotta broaden your horizons, Ghostface. It might be a turn off to you now, but sit with them. Talk with them. Maybe you'll like it. It's just like Jason teaching art to the kids. It's probably why he didn't kill any of the kids. He's like, okay, we're going to have art time. Like, you, get over there. Rub that in the corner. Grab that arm. Rub it on the windows. Good, good. I can already see Bob Ross memes. It's like BM puts up. I can already see Bob Ross memes with Jason's mask over Bob Ross's face as he's like painting, but instead of paintbrush, he's got like a little machete with some like blood on his fucking what's that thing called with the paint on it? You know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't know if I was talking to him or his mother. That makes the conversations even more interesting. Palette. That's what it is. It was like drawing a blank, which I should be ashamed because I was really good in art. And I can draw and fairly paint well. The fact that I couldn't remember the word palette and playing a game like Dead by Daylight is very disheartening. Jason Bob Ross. We call him Bobby Voorhees. If Jason was in a Lantern Corps, what would it be and why? Black Lanterns because he's dead. That would probably be the best fit for him. Exactly, Ghost. Like, anybody saying that Jason has no stealth. Like, when you're watching the movies like this, back to back to back, and actually seeing everything, it makes it hard to argue that Jason's, one, not stealthy, and two, he's an idiot. He's neither an idiot, nor is he not stealthy. He's actually very good at both, especially when he's undead. You're the only normal slasher. Kinda. I mean, you have the fisherman, too. Ooh. Oh. He's like, get your ass back in here. Got the fisherman from, I Know What You Did Last Summer. He's normal. I mean, you could probably go that way, Ty, but I mean, as far as an actual slasher that we know of, like serial killer, like the Mummy had his own kind of agenda, but I don't think many people look at the Mummy as a slasher, just based on the overall movie. I think for the most part, people turn to Norman Bates because you're talking psychotic serial killer with a knife. And that's where the slasher originated from. Like, Hitchcock had a lot to do with that. I mean, in that case, Ghostface, then yeah, like you kind of fighting a one-sided argument there. But keep in mind, Ghostface, just because he can't talk doesn't mean he can't use the telephone. Ask Alice. Dave Batista as Tommy. I don't know about that. I kind of wouldn't want that. Dave Batista's way too big to be Tommy. Now you wonder, he survives this. She just pulled a gun on a cop and released a suspected murderer. So you'd figure after this, she'd be arrested, right? Both her and Tommy. No animals were harmed during the filming. Oh, wait. We all need to bow our heads in silence to the snake from Friday the 13th, Part 1. Okay, that's it. I still love what's her name's reaction to that. Like, I want to, on behalf of all snakes, apologize. Yeah, he was like kind of condescending there, wasn't he, little hand? Like, I'll get it for you, babe. Yes, BM. If the end of part 2 is a dream, which I am full on, like, not even theory, I think it's fact at this point, it is a dream. Muffin was killed and eaten by Jason. Well, technically, Ghostface, Jason did speak in Pamela's flashback in part 1. I mean, granted, he did say, "Mommy, help," and along those lines, but he did speak. And if you count part 8, when the toxic waste is filling the sewers, Jason technically mouths the words, "Don't let me drown," before the toxic waste hits him. It's up to you to actually decide of whether he actually speaks the words or not. Jason and Mike go to pet shops to eat dogs every afternoon. Especially dachshunds. They like wieners. I didn't come out right. I think every interpretation of Undead Jason is different in a way. Like his powers are constantly fluctuating based on the version that you go with. I don't know, Ty. From everything I've heard from Sam Raimi, is that it likely will not connect to the TV show. Jason has a lot going on in his life. Like, look at all the blood. Like, seriously. Like, everywhere. Yes, Lohan. I do believe Jenny likely did go crazy. Because if I remember right, the original sequel for Part 3 was supposed to have Jenny in a mental institution where she comes in contact with Jason again somehow. So I think it's a safe bet that she did go crazy, just was never seen again. He could have spared the popcorn, but who's to say that's not his form of butter on popcorn? Then realized it was the cheap popcorn. He didn't like that shit, so he just tossed the bowl. Oh, that's surprising, Ty. But then again, Stanley Kubrick is a eccentric kind of guy, so it's crazy that he would like it, but not entirely surprising. It was Pop Weaver. He wanted Orville. Like, I don't want this shit. I'm a my ass out of here. Is Jason okay with eating people? I mean, there's no indication that he's done so. At least not that I know of. Because we know once he turns undead, he doesn't eat at all. But when he was alive, it seemed like he only ate animals. Like, he didn't really eat living people. And look at the bullets, like, passing right through him. Literally, like, nothing. And Jason's just, like, he's, like, sort of, like, bracing himself, if you notice. Like, the bullets are hitting him, but he's, like, bracing himself for it. Ooh, what book is that, Ghost? I really got to start reading some of these Friday the 13th novels. Man, I do notice that a bit, BM. There's always like a massive like monsoon rainstorm. Hey, low blow, Ghostface, low blow. Plus, he wouldn't speak to you on phone. He'll only text you. That's about it. It's like Jason is just like done with hiding overall. Like no freeze, no nothing. Like you wonder if he actually realized that that was actually Jason. Carnival of Maniacs. Huh. I have to check that out. I gotta check all of them out at some point. Think once I actually get settled in my schedules and everything, make some time to actually buy the books and read them. If not, check out 80 Slasher Librarian if he has them on his channel. Oh, I imagine. Because, I mean, I tried doing that as Michael Myers, and I feel it all here. And trust me, I'm not ripped. I'm round in that area for now. Like, I'm trying to get down there, but doing a couple sit-ups like that, it completely burns all of that down there. R.I.P. Muffin. Definitely. Not sure how old Pam is supposed to be. Wait a minute. Pam was in part 5. Trish was in part 4. Pam was definitely an adult in part 5. I'm not sure how old, but she was definitely an adult. But you wonder if Tommy felt any guilt about going there and doing what he did that caused Jason to reawaken. Knowing that basically if he would have never touched Jason's body, he would have never woke up and none of those people would have died. What's the worst horror movie I've ever seen? Ooh. I would probably say worst one I seen that's in my recent memory because I just watched is Return to Horror Hotel. Sort of a cross between that and what was it They're Inside? Which I did a reaction to that trailer. Kind of reminded me of The Strangers. Just like found footage. It was bad. It was really bad. Ooh. Or at least he did put up a fight against Jason. Ooh, there it is. There it is. Oh. Yeah, I'm fairly certain he didn't survive that. That's not something you can buff out. think with Michael, out of all of them, who comes out on top, I would probably say part 6 Michael would probably come out on top. Even though he got his ass beat by Paul Rudd, I still think he was the only Michael that was more intimidating than him is the 2018 Michael, excluding Rob Zombies. Ooh, Jason's in rage mode. That's kind of fucked up that she was going back to save the kids and Tommy's like telling her like no, fuck them, essentially. Ooh, about to pop her head open. Now it's funny because the question here is, does Jason even recognize who he is? Come on, you pussy. You gotta love how he says that. That's only the way that Tom Matthews can deliver that line. So all Jasons going at each other, I would probably say part 6 Jason. I think he would probably come out on top. Just because he seems far more resilient to pain and far more unlikely to hurt. Because, I mean, you figure here, he would have probably killed everybody if he didn't go into the lake. Ooh. I don't know, BM. You might actually be right. The part 6 versus Ghost, I would probably still go with 6. Like, as good as Ghost Jason is, I think part 6 Jason just seems like he's a bit more intimidating in how he goes about things. Like, he's just not. I mean, Ghost Jason kind of hid too, but he was still in your face as much as this Jason. But there's just something about this Jason that I feel like is something about him that gives him an edge in my mind. Oh, without a doubt, Kane's Jason. Kurtzinger's Jason was very oafy and slow, and that was on purpose. Kane's Jason is a lot faster, direct, and very aggressive. It's just like, I got you, you little bitch. Just Just like strangling him, like moving around his head. She wondered if Jason meant to do that to try to lure someone in to save him so that way he could grab her. I mean, I got a little bit of pudge Ty, but I mean, I'm trying to work on it. Got to get back in my workout regiments, especially with Comic Con coming. I mean, luckily I'm not too far out there, so when I throw on my Batman suit, it doesn't necessarily pop out like that. Oh, that's a good question, little hand. Like you'd figure as much hatred as he probably has for Tommy that while he had him by the neck, he would have snapped it to make sure that he was killed. Yeah, Devin, I'd have to go with Tommy on that. Ooh, Kane's Jason versus CJ's Jason. Which, I don't know. I would probably go with CJ's Jason. Again, for the same reasons of all the others. Although Kane's Jason played him very, like, pissed off. And I enjoy that performance a bit better than CJ's Jason. But just that question alone just reminded me that I think it's Monster Mania that's in Hunt Valley, Maryland, is actually going to have Kane Hodder and CJ Anderson both in costume as Jason for shoots, which I wish I was going, but I unfortunately cannot make that one. And they got some really good guests coming, which depending on who they bring next year, I may replace Comic Con with that. Because this year, I didn't know they were going to have Bruce Campbell, Danielle Harris, James Drew Courtney, Mick Castle, the guy that played Billy Loomis from Scream, Matthew Lillard from Scream, Nev Campbell, Jamie Kennedy, a bunch of people that are going to be there. I wish I'd have known that before I settled on Baltimore Comic Con. But, I mean, Baltimore Comic Con is all-inclusive, especially for my kids. So, I mean, I'm not too broken up about it. I just kind of wish that the year my kids wanted to dress up as Ghostface for Comic-Con, we decide that, and then we find out the Scream cast is going to be at Monsterpalooza. So it's like kind of like, missed opportunity. There's the eye, still open and waiting. That's definitely a fun movie. Like, still, like I said, it's not one of my all-time favorites, but it is still something that I really, really like. It's a movie that I really like. So, without a doubt, it's pretty much still something I can constantly come back and watch. Best ending credit song, yeah, definitely, especially when compared to the other movies where you just got usually Harry Manfredini's score just for the scrolling credits. This one like makes you want to stay for the credits. With that James Bond opening, oh yeah. I realize. Oh, wait a minute. I'm breaking borders here. Oh, oh, oh. I'm grabbing. Let me in, Jason. Let me in. Nah, I gotta stop. Oh man, but yes. Before I forget, I gotta give Ghostface a little bit of something. He's been asking. One moment. Hey, Ghostface. What's up? I figured you'd like that, huh? Oh man. I do prefer this mask over the ones my kids have that they prefer. They have a plastic one. This is the Fun World rubber one. Looks a lot better too, in my opinion. Now just keep it on. Got the Myers like coveralls on. Ghost face mask. Oh, I'll put it back on for you. Oh yeah, I could definitely agree with that, Lil Ann. With part four being pretty much pretty fucking brutal. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, what's your favorite scary movie? Friday the 13th. No! Halloween! Wait a minute. No. Scream! Scream! Wait a minute. Shit. I fucked up. Oh man. Oh shit. Nose itching. Join me and together we can rule the slashers. I don't know, Ghostface. I mean, I put on the mask. I didn't see any super chats pop up. What's going on, man? What's going on? No, I'm just playing. I will not coerce you for money. Hey, where the hell is my button on this thing? There we go. said, "Now remember, the name is not Scream." I will remember, Ghostface. Come on the stream tomorrow with the Ghostface mask on. Like, look, I'm Scream. Shit. That sounds like a good trade, Ghostface. That definitely sounds like a good trade. There we go. Now I got the hood connected. Back to my Emperor Palpatine look. Oh man. But yeah, that was Friday the 13th part 6. Let me actually take this hood off. I'm already wearing enough layers as it is. There we go. Did I see Hobbs and Shaw? I have not yet. I mean, I heard mixed things about it, but oh, thank you, BM, for the super chat. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you. But shit, tonight has been a really good night. I'm like energetic, ready to go, costumes on. Which I do have some videos planned that are going to be coming out. I'm still working on the Evil Dead one because the theory that I had, it's kind of workable, but not really. Because I'm going through each movie one by one, and the original theory I had doesn't line up with certain aspects, so I'm trying to work out some loose ends on it. However, I am working on another video that I got an idea for about A Nightmare on Elm Street that I'll be working into as well. Of course, Friday the 13th will always be a mainstay, so never worry on that. I'm never going to another franchise. But with that being said, I am getting a little hungry, and pretty much I ended up working from 11 to maybe 9 o'clock, so getting a little bit peckish. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start ending everything here. Friday the 13th, part 7. I'll be doing the commentary for that Tuesday. That'll be Tuesday. Tomorrow's gameplay, we'll see if we can get in some Dead by Daylight. If I can get Hide or Die to work, we'll be playing that as well. And also, see if I can get my Xbox streaming on here. I might play a little bit of Resident Evil 4, maybe Resident Evil 2. We'll see. But I'm glad you had a blast, BM. Trust me, thank you for the super chat, and thank you for being in here in the stream overall. Like, I definitely appreciate it. And I also want to thank Lil Ham again for his super chat as well. You guys are awesome. But yeah, be sure that you're here Tuesday for the part 7 commentary. If you're not here tomorrow for the gameplay stream. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream the way we began. And I'm going to sign off and kill some fuckers. See you guys tomorrow.